After 5 minutes, just let that sit for about another few minutes and then we'll mix it up before we get started here. I should mention also, they have some of the best caulkings ever. This is Laticrete. It's 100% silicone that matches the grout. And we caulk this before we grout it. So it's gonna make it a lot easier. You don't have to worry about smearing this over your grout joints, especially when you have a basket weave like that, that's gonna have a lot of grout joints. So this is another reason I love using the Laticrete. Okay, so a few minutes later, just mix it up again and then you can start grouting. So this is a real nice fine consistency, pretty dark blue. So first thing, you just want to take a damp sponge. This type of grout is very sensitive to water. So you don't want to have any water like dripping out of the joints for any reason, but just to apply a little bit of a damp sponge on it so it's easier to glide and then just work it in. So there's a lot of grout joints on this basket weave, and you're just really just wanting to pay attention to filling them all and making sure that they're even with the tile. There's going to be a lot of grout left on the joints. So don't worry about the amount that you really have on here. I mean, try to wipe off what you can, but you want to make sure that the joints stay full. That's your more important aspect of this, because if they're not full, there's nothing you can really do. But all this stuff will come off very, very easily. So the ceiling, we're going to be caulking this with a latex caulk that we can paint the same color. I just want to make sure that they're completely full. Now this, if I just left the grout there in this joint, it will crack. So what I'll do is we'll remove the grout at that joint after this all dries before we caulk. But I want to make sure that my joints are completely filled to the ceiling. So that's basically, filling that ceiling joint, but we'll just scrape that out a little bit before we caulk, and then it'll be a nice long lasting joint. And we're gonna just paint it the same color as the ceiling. So we got flat white ceiling paint. So that's what we'll use for that. So depending on the temperature, you get about 20-25 minutes before you have to remove this. So you do have time. I don't have another box. Well, I mean, why? I just never thought that this would have hogged up this much. It's just truly unbelievable. Stupid. How in the world could I go through that much grout? Nothing I can do about it now. Here, I'm thinking, oh, I only need a half a box. It would help to pay attention to the back of the box. All right, so it's been about 25 minutes later, and you can basically now touch the grout and not pull any major amount off. You can see how it's kind of skinned over and it kind of looks dry, but the grout joints themselves are still dark. That's what you're really looking for. Like even here where it's still kind of dark here, it's a little wet. But this back wall is ready. This is the last part that I did. So, but really you just want to avoid having a whole bunch of grout. You want to be able to mold this with your finger and be able to, basically tool the joint smooth. So best thing is just to try to test an area with your sponge. You want to be have very little water on your sponge. And you want to be able to work your joint without pulling any of the grout out. Now this is, honestly, this is still a little, I could probably make this work. What you're looking for is just to get it nice and smooth with the joint, but this honestly could be a little bit drier. So I might just wait another 5 minutes, because the worst thing that can happen is allowing this to wash out with the joint. So we're gonna wait. I might just take some of this stuff off the ceiling though. Depends on the environment you're in. It's pretty humid right now. So if you're in a dry, like hot area, this is gonna set up fairly quickly. But since we're really nice and humid and it's like 70 degrees in here, maybe even a little bit colder than that, it's gonna take a little bit of time. But I mean, once you see these dark joints like really starting to whiten up, then you better get on it, because then otherwise it's gonna be kind of difficult to remove. Yeah, now you can really, I mean, that was only a couple minutes later, but it's amazing what a couple minutes makes. So now we can just like really scrub it. But again, you want to just make sure there isn't a whole lot of water on it. You need to really wring out that sponge. Now this is definitely going to haze over. This is like your initial wash. Let's just wait a little bit and then you can wipe it down again. It's going to take a couple more times, honestly. So that's the initial wash. It's going to haze over tremendously, but basically just want to make sure you get it all off of the tile for the most part, and then you'll be able to scrub a little bit harder once this dries up a little bit more. So it's definitely a process, but it really is easy to remove, and you'll be able to get all of that haze off of there, no problem. All right, so lesson learned. Definitely have enough grout for basket weave. Now they do have an indicator on the side of the box that shows you how many square feet you can do, and I thought it was going to do 32 square feet. I pretty much got half of that. It's probably because of the thickness of tile, and in the basket we've just had so many more joints than what they're indicating here. They say 1 by 1 by 1/4 inch should do 32 square feet. I guess you can pretty much cut that in half. So 16 pounds is going to do it. They actually do have it in a newer bag here, but we're going to go mix up some more, finish this tub surround off. Okay, so like an hour later, now it's like completely hardened, and you'll have a little bit of a haze. So now you can really kind of scrub off the rest. And you don't have to worry too much about how much water you have on it now, because everything is dry. It does make it easier having all these, everything grouted, so now you can just really just fully clean everything and be done. Definitely being able to silicone that before grouting definitely has its advantages here. Really makes a difference with the white tub. I know. Ran out of tile for the sides and ran out of the grout for the sides. I mean, it's so easy to underestimate and very easy to hog up a lot of extra time when you're trying to get things done. I mean, this grout was only 40 bucks. I would have had no problem spending another 40 bucks. I just truly didn't think it could possibly take this much grout. And I mean, I don't even have any, I mean, I only got like 4 grout joints on the floor, so I knew that wasn't going to take much. But this is unbelievable. Okay, so now we can just go ahead and do our floor. Now you are going to want to caulk against the tub, so we're just going to be doing the main spots. Get our vent here too. It's gonna be awesome not to have any grout joints on a floor. This is gonna be so easy to clean. This is definitely the way to go for, you know, like a standard size bath. Pretty dry. Now we can just go ahead and remove.
So, you know, if you can caulk this without having to tool it, that'll make it a lot easier. That's where this caulking gun really, really helps out.